Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro pretty much since release day. Now yes, I've been using it alongside the Google Pixel 9 as my daily driver, but the iPhone realistically hasn't ever left my pockets until now. And in today's video, we are taking a long-term review of the 16 Pro from the perspective of someone that's a little bit bored of what the Big Apple can offer. This is the review of the iPhone 16 Pro 7 months later. Now, just before we get into the video, I just want to talk about smartphones moving forward in 2025 and also a little bit into next year as well, because it's pretty much guaranteed that we're going to be getting a new Pro device from Apple, Samsung, and obviously Google, and that's kind of just the trend that we're in at the moment. And there's already a ton of rumors about these new devices that are coming out. We've got the iPhone 17, the 17 Pro, the 17 Air. We're going to have something new from Samsung with the Galaxy Edge, and of course we're going to have a Google Pixel 10 a little bit later on in the year. And regardless of the company that you're looking at, whether it's Apple, Samsung, Google, or a Chinese manufacturer like Oppo, which unfortunately we can't get here in the UK, especially those really nice devices, then yeah, it's kind of becoming a little bit less and less worth it to upgrade your device year on year. So in all honesty, this review is going to be pretty heavily impacted by that. We're not really going to go into the internals, the screen technology, the build of the actual device and things like that, because realistically it's not too different model on model year on year. Now that's not to say that these features aren't great. Of course we're going to have 120Hz XDR up to 2000 nit brightness display on the iPhone 16 Pro, but that's not really that dissimilar to what we're going to find on the Google Pixel 9 Pro, and a little bit behind what we're going to find on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. And by the way, I'm going to have all of my videos linked in the description down below with regards to the iPhone 15 Pro from last year, anything new for the iPhone 16, plus a ton of case reviews, accessories, so again, all in the description below. And in all honesty, it's not too dissimilar to what we've had with the previous models on the 16 Pro here, and I kind of think that's where Apple needs to change it up moving forward into the end of this year with the 17 live devices, and if the rumors are said to be true, then it is going to be a little bit different, although not massively. So if you really look at the price to performance ratio, you could probably pick up a 15 Pro that's used for a little bit less, maybe £300-400 less on the used market, and still get a great experience compared to the 16 Pro. However, we will briefly cover the design of the 16 Pro, because realistically that hasn't really changed for the last 3 or even 4 models, and that's kind of why it's worth talking about here. The iPhone 16 Pro has the same titanium build from the 15 lineup, and is still one of the best feeling devices with its glass front and back, premium build and materials, and a jewel-like finish. Now, don't get me wrong, it definitely feels like a high value product, and that's definitely why you want to be protecting it with a case or a screen protector. For me, it has to be the Andar Aspen. However, I've done a ton of reviews on a ton of cases for the 16 Pro, of course linked down in the description below. However, for the design, while I think it is nice and it still looks really premium even to this day, I think that with the 17 Pro moving forward, they are going to be changing it up a little bit compared to what we have here. And just touching on what the 17 is going to be offering this year based on the leaks and rumors that we've had here, it is going to change up the design ever so slightly, mainly on the back side of things. You're going to have a larger camera housing. Now, I'm not too sure what the right side of the camera housing is going to be used for if you're looking at the device back on, but you're going to have your cameras standard on the left-hand side and then a bit of a gap on the right. Now, again, based on some of the cases that have leaked for the 17 and the 17 Pro, there's going to be a little bit of a weak point at the top there, so I'm not sure how that's going to really react with some of the cases moving forward, but in general, if you are a fan of cases and accessories, then again, maybe an older model is going to be better suited for you. Now, sticking with the design, the buttons are still clicky and tactile, and we do have some additional buttons this year with the camera control and the returning action button from the 15 Pro. However, I'll be honest guys, since unboxing the device, I haven't really used the action button or the camera control. With the action button, I set up for the silent toggle switch, haven't really touched it since, and I don't see myself using it anytime soon. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that it might be a little bit more useful if you're into shortcuts and some additional features, but for me, I didn't really find myself using it all that much. I also find it a little bit strange that maybe 20 years ago you were paying real money for the latest ringtone on your Nokia 3310, and these days pretty much everyone has their phone on silent. I know for me, mine's been on vibrate for maybe the last 6-7 years. And then of course we have the new camera control button, which as you can see on my 16 Pro, if I'm pressing it, doesn't actually do anything. And to be honest guys, that's because I actually disabled it in the settings. For me, I was accidentally pressing it a little bit too much. I didn't like how it interacted with some cases, so I didn't really worry about it moving forward. So yeah, the camera control, while nice if you do want to use it, it's not necessarily one of the best features of the 16 Pro, regardless of what the advertisement's going to say. So yeah, to wrap up the design of the 16 Pro, it still looks really nice, and that's kind of all there is to say about it. Now, while I won't go into the specific chipset or the RAM on the 16 Pro, one thing that I will say is the device is still super snappy even after that 7 months worth of use. It's fast to open applications, quick to get to the content that you need to look at, and of course things like the camera and of course gaming performance is still the best on mobile. Again, I'm not sure whether it's just because of the games that are available on the App Store, but for me the iPhone is still the king of gaming when it comes to that side of things. But then again, in 2025 for $1,000, you would expect super good performance like this. Now don't get me wrong, I think the iPhones on paper and also the benchmark side of things and using day to day, they are still super snappy devices. However, I'm super interested to see what Snapdragon will be doing moving forward, because again, their chipsets are slightly catching up to what Apple has to offer at the moment. Maybe next year we'll see an M series chip in the iPhone. Now moving on to iOS, it's basically iOS. If you've used an iPhone over the last 18 years since they came out in 2007, you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into. Yes, this year we do have a little bit more in terms of customization due to the newest version of iOS. So again, in regards to changing your icons colors and the way they look and having widgets and gaps on the screen and being able to actually customize it a little bit more. But of course, it's still nowhere near what you would find on Android. Now, I say nowhere near, you can technically do it, but it requires tons more work, and that's kind of why I haven't done it on my 16 Pro. But then again, I think that's what iOS 19 is going to be changing later on this year. There's a rumor at the moment of either square or sort of squircle icons that we've got coming out. So again, maybe mixing it up ever so slightly, but it's still going to look very much like an iPhone. And I'm still going to go back to this. Even if you get a device that is 3 or even 4 generations old, like the 14 Pro with the 13 or even the 15 Pro, then you're going to still have amazing performance regardless of how old the device is going to be. I think that's kind of a testament to Apple in terms of what they can actually do with their smartphones. They're super powerful when they come out and they actually last later down the line. For me, if I was going to get a 4 or 5-year-old Android phone, I know that yes, while it's going to perform nicely, it's still not going to perform anywhere near what the iPhone would have at the time. But then again, it would probably be a little bit cheaper to get an Android phone as well. Face ID, of course, is still super convenient whether you're logging into your device, in-app purchases, anything private on your phone as well, and it's still, in my opinion, the easiest and quickest way to secure and unlock your device. And that's kind of one of the features that I wish other manufacturers would take from. So for example, with the new Galaxy device or a new Pixel device, having a super secure Face ID on there would be pretty nice to have. However, then we'd have to probably deal with going back to a notch instead of a pinhole cutout, or even the dynamic island, which again is something that I rarely if ever use. And if you have an Android device, I think you'd be lying to yourself if you said that you didn't have to try maybe 1 or 2 times to actually use Google Pay. For me, Apple Pay works fine. I unlock it with Face ID and it works every single time. However, even on my Pixel 9 Pro, again a $1,000 device, I might go to pay for something, it might bug out, I have to enter my fingerprint again. So again, it's a little bit more cumbersome compared to the stock Face ID that we find on the 16 Pro. So little things like that when it comes to the software and the OS is still what kind of brings me back to iOS in regards to the general operating system, and in my opinion being the easiest operating system to use. Whether you're using it on your iPhone or on your iPad, pretty much everyone can use iOS. If you're younger or a little bit older, then you know exactly what you're doing, it's super simple to use, and that's kind of where I think Apple have a monopoly in that sort of thing. So now onto the big feature that Apple is really pushing with the 16 Pro, and one that it was built from the ground up for: Apple Intelligence. And not to go too deep into the state of Apple Intelligence, because I think it is something that is going to be worked on year, but if you go on the landing page on the Apple website for the Apple Intelligence side of things, it used to say available now, and they kind of had to take that down, and now it says nothing. So it is kind of out, but some of the more important AI features and all the improvements to Siri are still yet to be seen. Although if you want to combine emojis to make Genmojis, then feel free I guess, and Apple is still heavily pushing this in a lot of advertisement. It's just another disappointment with the 16 Pro that I've noticed over the 7 months of using it. There was a lot of promise and a lot of features that were coming soon, especially for the Apple Intelligence side of things, that just aren't here yet, so it wasn't really built from the ground up for it. If anything, when the 17 Pro comes out and iOS 19, that's going to be where we see the majority of the AI features moving forward with Apple, so which device really was built for the Intelligence? And keep in mind, it wasn't Apple that had to remove the tagline. The National Advertising Division actually got involved for a little bit of false advertisement when it came to the Apple Intelligence side of things. So not only are they being told how to advertise the devices, but they were also told to put USB-C in there by Europe as well. So realistically, Apple's just kind of trailing a little bit behind and being told by these bigger corporations kind of what to do. So yeah, I wouldn't really be thinking about getting an iPhone 16 Pro for the Apple Intelligence features because they're not really all there. I would just go ahead and download ChatGPT or just go ahead and get Google Gemini for a much better experience. Just look at this super brief experiment that I've done here, just talking about the Empire State Building with both Google Gemini and also Siri. Where is the Empire State Building located?
The Empire State Building is located in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. The full address is 20 West 34th Street, New York, 10001.
And is it open today?
Yes, the Empire State Building is open today. It's actually open 365 days a year. The opening hours can vary, so it's always a good idea to check their website before you go.
And who actually built the Empire State Building?
The Empire State Building was built by Starrett Brothers and Eakin. It was completed in 1931.
Where is the Empire State Building located? And is it open today? Is the Empire State Building open today? Who built the Empire State Building? So as you can see from that super brief example, while yes, Siri did have some visuals to it, which I'm hoping is going to be coming to the live version of Gemini very soon, you've got a much more of a conversation with Gemini with a bit back and forth. You can do a little bit of interrupting or add to a sentence you've already said. So it's just a little bit more conversational, which I kind of think is the whole point of AI. And then we do also have some AI features in regards to removing certain objects when it comes to the photo edits on your device as well. So I've taken the same photo here with the 16 Pro and the Pixel 9 Pro, and all I want to do is just remove the can. You can see here that the Google phone does it really nicely. It's got rid of everything and it looks really good, filled in the background, no problem at all. Do it on the iPhone and it kind of smudges it. Yes, the can is gone, but look what's left behind. And I think in general that the AI side of things from Apple just isn't really living up to expectation. Don't get me wrong, I actually use it a ton on my Mac and I'm not really sure how it's faring on the iPad, but on the iPhone there's just some better options out there from Android, Google and Gemini. So overall the iPhone 16 Pro is still a super nice feeling and super snappy device. But one reason that a lot of people get into the iPhone ecosystem is for the camera side of things. So how does that hold up? Obviously we've got 3 different cameras. We've got a 5x telephoto, ultra wide and a wide, and of course a front facing camera, all which have been pretty much improved since the last version. And I kind of really wanted to put it to the test here. So what I've done is I took a trip to London and I just took the iPhone with me and I shot pretty much everything in maximum quality. Now the images and photos I'm going to be showing you in a moment aren't just your standard point and shoot. While you can still do that on the iPhone, it still looks great of course. What I really wanted to do is push the iPhone to its limits in regards to photo side of things and of course video. So settings wise for video I was using ProRes Log. Now the whole point of Log is it shoots a very flat color profile, allowing you to go into your editing software after the fact and basically do your own log corrections, whether that's color correction, saturation, contrast, brightness, bring up the shadows, bring down the highlights. You've got a ton of options here. All of mine was edited in Final Cut Pro. And for the photo side of things, they were in the RAW Max 48 megapixel quality setting. And of course, believe it or not, they were all edited on device using Snapseed, which is an application from Google. I just find it a little bit more diverse and accessible compared to what you have on the built-in iPhone Photos app. And just before we get into the results, I still think that the iPhone is one of the best in regards to the overall shooting experience. For the camera side of things, it looks great, and don't get me wrong, I think that devices like the Galaxy S25 Ultra and Google Pixel 9 Pro are definitely catching up, and for me, I actually prefer the photos coming from the 9 Pro, but in general, it's still a really good experience, and again, it kind of should be. However, one thing that I would say is Apple is still king when it comes to the video side of things. 4K video on the iPhone still looks the best out of any device that I've ever tried, and again, in regards to all of the pro settings and the versatility of it, you can get some really nice footage here. So let's just take a quick look at what the iPhone can really do. So as you can see, the camera in regards to the photos and videos on the 16 Pro is no joke. They look incredible, they're tons of versatility, you can edit them in pretty much anywhere that you need to. It's pretty simple really. The iPhone still has the best overall camera on any device. And just a little bit of housekeeping to round up the video. The speakers are great with both volume and clarity, call quality was good with both the microphone and the earpiece, making it super clear to speak and to be heard by others. Battery life was a little bit disappointing with the 3582 mAh cell on board. Now it would last a day with normal use with messaging, web browsing and things like that, but throw in some FaceTime calls, video watching and introducing the camera and it can drop pretty quickly. For me, if I was using it daily and I was taking a lot of photos, videos or just kind of using the more pro options on the phone, then yeah, it would kind of maybe last half to 3/4 of a day, and I would definitely have to charge it later in the afternoon. Now this may not be the same with the Pro Max model because it's the same chipset, but it's got a bigger battery, but in general the iPhone was a little bit of a letdown overall when it came to battery when I was really pushing the device. So to run up this review of the iPhone 16 Pro 7 months later, can I still recommend it with the 17 and 17 Pro just on the horizon? Well, kind of, but it really depends what you're looking for on a smartphone. If you're looking for the best iPhone at the moment with all the bells and whistles, then yes, the 16 Pro is definitely going to be for you. However, if what you're looking for is going to be a fast device with a great screen, amazing build quality, and a great camera, then again, you've got the 14, the 14 Pro, the 15, the 15 Pro at a much reduced price. And don't get me wrong, this isn't just for the iPhone, this counts pretty much any device as well. If you look at the Galaxy S24 Ultra or the Google Pixel 8 Pro, you're still getting an amazing device for a heavily discounted price compared to the £1,000 or more that they're offering at the moment. However, if you're looking to add a ton of customization to your device, make it kind of feel more like your own, and also be at the forefront of any AI features that are coming out, then again, maybe it's not for you. But then again, if you are stuck in the iOS ecosystem, then you don't really have much options here when it comes to the Apple Intelligence side of things. However, if you're kind of okay with stepping away from it a little bit, then again, Google and Samsung are definitely the way to go. And of course, other devices can do it for a lot less. Now, I'm not talking about the iPhone SE because again, that's a pretty expensive device. Yes, it has a lot of the features that we have here, much reduced in terms of the camera, the screen quality isn't amazing, but what I'm talking about is the Google Pixel 9a. Coming in at around $500, you've got a nice camera, a pretty good build, yes, maybe a little bit of an older design, but again, all of the AI features that you can think of directly from Google Gemini. So again, price to performance, if you're looking at saving about $500 or more, then it's a pretty good pickup. And I think more than ever, Apple now needs to change up what they're doing with their hardware and software. Yes, I know with the 17 Pro, they are slightly changing the design when it comes to the camera side of things. However, I'm pretty sure from the front of the device, it is going to look exactly the same as the 16 Pro. We do then have the 17 Air, which again, I think is going to look different. It's just going to be slimmer with maybe worse battery. So we'll see exactly how that's going to be turning out. But I think that pretty much all companies just need to either make bigger integrations year on year, or just make it so that their smartphones are once every 2 years, for example. The 16 Pro is still a great device, even 7 months down the line, and I still think it's going to be an amazing device a year and a half, 2 years, or even longer down the line as well, and that can kind of be said at the moment with any flagship device from any of the big 3 companies out there. Yes, I would like them to change it up ever so slightly, but again, having a little bit less in terms of the release window, maybe bringing out different models in between, so maybe at the end of this year we get the 17 Pro, and then the end of next year we get the 17 Air, and so on and so forth. Maybe that would be a way to do it, but then again, Apple, they just want to make a ton of money, so yeah, new phone every year. And that's going to do it, guys, for this video. It was maybe a little bit more negative than what we used to hear on the channel, but again, where I've been using this device pretty much every single day, it just kind of doesn't excite me the way that the iPhone used to. And that's maybe a little bit of a problem, and maybe more why I'm using the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Even for the script side of things that I've got here at the moment, everything's written down on the 9 Pro, and again, it's in my pocket all the time. I'm using it in the car with Spotify, I'm using it for WhatsApp, and it's my daily driver at the moment, and the iPhone has taken a little bit of a back seat, maybe compared to 5 or 6 months ago. However, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below, and of course now is a great time in the comment section to let me know exactly what you're thinking about the iPhone moving forward, or just in general smartphones in 2025. Are you a little bit bored of what they're doing at the moment? Have you kind of lost that love and the enjoyment of getting a brand new device every year? Because again, it's not really that dissimilar to what we had for the year before, or even the year before that. Also, if you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so, and of course once you've hit that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on the notifications so you're notified anytime I post a video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass, thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.